Hey guys, my name is Tito. I make videos on personal finance on my other channel. On this channel, I talk about other things. Like today, when I'll be reviewing the new Nollywood film currently on Prime Video, Say Who Die. A family is thrown into turmoil when disaster strikes at a send-off party in their home. After the unthinkable happens, one member of the family takes a series of drastic decisions in order to save herself and avoid impending death. Say Who Die is a dark comedy written by Lani Aisida, directed by Paul Utomi, and it stars musicians Oiza and Meyi Abu. I've been looking forward to reviewing this film for a while, but as some of you may have observed, I haven't been doing reviews for a while. I've been more on that later anyway. So this film is written by a friend of mine, Lani. That's part of why I haven't been around for a while. A friend of mine wrote this film, Say Who Die, Lani Aisida, and he showed me a trailer, or showed me the trailer for this movie earlier this year. So based on what I saw, I was looking forward to this film. I was also looking forward to it because it stars identical twins. And I also was at a special screening of this film the day it came out. That was awesome. I'll put clips of it on the screen for you guys to see. But that said, let's dive into this review, which will be a spoiler review, by the way, beginning with the performances. Identical twin sisters Oiza and Meyi Abu play identical twin sisters in the film Odion and Omon, right? And they do quite well in the film. They're very convincing. There's quite a bit of physical acting, well, at least on the part of one of the identical twins who has a bit more screen time than her sister. And the performance was convincing enough. These two ladies, I don't think they're like established. They aren't established actors. I don't think they've done that much acting. But because of the nature of this film, it's a dark comedy, they were able to give a good enough or convincing enough performance as these twins who are not the most innocent young ladies. There's lots of facial expressions. There are lots of predicaments that they find themselves in at different points in time. And I believe the acting was sufficient, largely because of the nature of the story and how over the top the story was. One of them has a bit of an acting background, to my understanding. I believe Oiza has a theater background or something like that, but Meyi not so much. But nonetheless, I think their performances were quite decent. And hey, this is a film where you need the twin dynamic, and there aren't that many identical twins in the Nollywood space. Baaj Adebule, he plays Jaja in this film. He's a wacky kind of crook, right? He's a bit eccentric. He talks funny, he laughs funny, he thinks in a funny way. And Baaj does a really good job of portraying this loopy character. And to his credit, I don't think that there are that many actors who could have portrayed Jaja the way Baaj Adebule portrayed Jaja. He's over the top, and he's like I said, eccentric, and there's just something unique about him that I feel like lots of actors in the Nollywood space will not have been able to have pulled off the way Baaj pulled it off. Olakunle Fawole plays the father of the twins, Innocent, and he's also quite good. He has his own issues as well, because amidst the family problem that they're having, he's also been caught cheating, right? And the way him and his family try and handle the situation was also a bit interesting to watch. And given what happens in the movie, where there's something that happens in the family, him trying to keep the family together and just to get by was interesting to see. Eva Ibiam, who plays his wife Martha, she also does a good job in the film. And you know, the two of them most of their scenes are together, and they're trying to navigate what happens in the family with the cheating as well. And I think her acting too was quite good. Someone at the screening said that she was crying in most of her scenes, and it's actually true, but hey, that takes skill. Eva Ibiam was in the film as Lala. Fun fact, Lala was actually meant to be a guy, but when Eva, she auditioned for another role in the film, she told me that she wasn't really feeling that role, but she was feeling the role of Lala, who was actually meant to be a guy. And the character is not that prominent in the film or in the story, but Eva does a really good job. And dare I say, the scenes she has with her scene partner in many of the scenes, Riyo David, who plays Ginger, they worked well together, and they made it memorable. They made it their own, and kudos to two of them. Even though they were supporting performances that didn't have that many lines, they were still memorable nonetheless. What I liked, I liked that they took intentional creative risks with the writing and with the acting in this film. This film is a bit over the top, and even the premise of the whole story is outlandish, but in a good way. And they took a risk and it paid off, right? It was entertaining and it was different. I also liked the score of this film. Getting comedy right or the correct way actually involves the use of music and a good score. And the person, whoever did the score, did a brilliant job, and the sound editing too, because the music actually helps to aid the comedy and the timing and the jokes and all that. The score and the music in this film played a huge role in it being entertaining. I liked that the things that happen in this film, it gives the audience the impression that this film or the happenings of this film is in its own world. It's not in our conventional world. That works if things don't overlap. In this world that this film is set in, some odd things happen, but it just odd things just keep on happening, and you get the vibe that that's just the nature of things in this world that they've set this story in, and that's fine because, like I said, they didn't infuse anything that would contradict some of the wacky things like police. We rarely see police showing up, randomly in the movie, because if they show up at some key points in the film or at a key point in the film, you'd be like, okay, so if they showed up at this point, why didn't they show up at that point? So I think throughout the film, they just left the police showing up out of the movie so that things could just go haywire the way that they did. I also liked, and I think I mentioned this earlier, the fact that there was a twin dynamic in this film. You see lots of films in Hollywood and maybe even sometimes from Nollywood where there two characters are twins, but typically, like with the case of Sinners from earlier this year, it's one actor playing both characters, right? But I don't think I've seen in Nollywood a movie where you have actual identical twins playing characters in a film. So I think this was a first for me, and I was looking forward to how they would pull it off. Even though both sisters, you can kind of tell them apart, but still, I think we can agree that they are identical. What else did I like about this film? Oh, yes, that it had a very memorable scene, like a what the heck scene, right? Not too many movies have a scene that you will leave the theater or leave the experience looking back on, or that everybody who saw the film will be talking about. There was a scene that was just really, the scene I'm talking about. And yeah, it was a weird scene. It was an awkward scene, but it was a daring scene, and it's a scene that everyone will remember after seeing this movie. Another thing I want to applaud them for in this film is their creative use of space, particularly the scenes in the twins' family home, right? Everything looked really organic and really natural, and even the neighborhood and all the places that they were moving around in this movie, they looked tasteful and they looked natural and they didn't look awkward. And I think because of how many characters you have in this film, I felt like things would feel a bit choked and crowded and it would be tough to get interesting angles. But apparently that wasn't the case. Things looked creatively shot, and the camera work too was also quite good. And the sets and the set pieces, they looked really nice. And I remember noticing them while I was watching the film. Who should see it? See Say Who Die. That was a tongue twister. See Say Who Die. If you like an unconventional Nollywood film, if you like dark comedy, and yeah, if you want to see something slightly different, if you're willing to experiment, because this film, I want to say it's not everyone's cup of tea, but if you're used to conventional Nollywood, right, and the same old, and you like that stuff, then you may not like this. But if you're willing to take a chance on something different and discover some new faces and some new talents, I really think you should check out this film, Say Who Die. In conclusion, it was a good watch. I enjoyed the watch party. Kudos to the director of this film, Paul Utomi, who, I forget the name of the film that he directed a few years ago that won an AMVCA. I think I've reviewed it. I'll put the thumbnail on the screen if I have reviewed it. But I spoke to him at the screening. I gave him his props. He did a great job. I wish he would do more films because he's a creative mind. He's a brilliant storyteller. I appreciate the way his filmmaking mind works, right? So kudos to Paul Utomi, who is also a very good actor. I don't know which he's better at, acting or making films or directing films, but he's really good at both of them. He did a great job. It was a fantastic decision getting him to direct this film. In conclusion, I don't know if I've given this a jollof rating yet. I give this 3 jollofs over 5. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the watch party. Kudos to Lani Aisida and Eva Ibiam and all the people I saw at the watch party and other people who I know that were involved with this film, like Okbe, my friend, and one or two other people. It was an enjoyable watch, I have to say. Guys, I did say I was going to say why I've been away for a while. So, the last review I did was probably in July. I didn't review anything in August, and we are now in the middle of September. I don't know. It's just I just wasn't feeling motivated to review lots of the films. I was seeing films. I was seeing Nollywood films, but I just didn't feel inspired to review them. You guys don't know how lucky you are to be able to just watch a Nollywood film and not have to come on camera and appraise the film or talk about the film, and in doing so try not to hurt the feelings of the filmmaker or the actors and things like that. Sometimes I see films that are just so bad that I do not know how I'm going to come on camera and be diplomatic about how bad the film was, or how communicate how I felt about the film without hurting people's feelings. So that was the case in some instances. And then I did fall ill earlier this month, September, and that wasn't fun at all. Funny enough, I was ready to come back, but then all of a sudden I fell ill, and I'm just coming out of that. And I'm not 100%, but I'm getting there. But hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm back. There's lots of stuff to review. Some of the stuff that I've seen that I actually did enjoy, I may review them, or I may just let it go and face things that are coming out in the future. But thanks to those of you who checked for me, who asked after me, who sent me emails, sent me messages. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully I'm back, and hopefully for the rest of the year it will be smooth sailing. Fingers crossed. Guys, if you enjoyed this review, please do me a favor and like it by clicking on the like button just underneath the video, and subscribe to my channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. On this channel, I don't just do Nollywood movie reviews. Sometimes I also talk about other things. Check out some of my past reviews. You can click the card in the corner of the screen. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's good to be back. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.